in few seconds, so you can start probably in 10 seconds. Yes, we are live.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Vaishali Mathur, publisher Indian Languages at Penguin Random House, India. And it's my great pleasure to welcome Ruzbeh N. Bharucha. We are launching his new book, Avatar on Avatar Meher Baba. And welcome, Ruzbeh. I think your audience, your readership, everybody will be joining us. So it'll be nice to begin with our chat and then see how people join in and take the questions.
Sure.
I know I don't have to introduce you, but I will say a few lines since it's a formal evening today. Ruzbeh has been deeply and spiritually connected with Sri Sridhar Sai Baba, and that's how we both got connected when we first did a book on him together some 7-8 years back. And since then, we have been publishing books together. Ruzbeh has written extensively in spirituality and taken Baba's words forward in his spiritual fiction. He's written about the great masters. He's written about Sadhu Vaswani. And now we are talking about Avatar Meher Baba. And it has been an amazing journey for both of us so far, because there have been so many miracles while we have done these books, how we connected, how the whole thing happened. And that is just such a pleasure for me to now talk about it this evening. And I hope that people who are joining us today will be able to gain something from this and understand what it means to be in this spiritual space, especially in these times. So, Ruzbeh, I think I want to start with you talking a little bit about your journey of writing spirituality. Feel free to share any funny and fun anecdotes. I know you have a classic sense of humor which you use on me all the time. So please use it for your readers this time. And tell us a little about your journey on spirituality, on writing the Fakir trilogy, and what it means to be writing on these greats.
Vaishali, I was editing magazines for Indian Express. In fact, I'm the first editor of any liquor magazine in India.
Okay.
Okay. So my magazine's name was called High Spirits. And one day, when Baba entered my life through a particular mantra that came from within, he made his presence felt by making me bankrupt in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And
you will have to explain that later on.
Yeah,
you will have to explain that. Yeah, how it works in the scheme of things.
Yes. So anyway, I had to support my family. I was a very young father. I had 2 children who were already there. So I went to this publisher who had kept telling me, come and, I'll publish your book, I'll publish your book. So I went to him and I'd taken 2-3 fiction books of mine. And he told me, Ruzbeh, I don't publish fiction. Why don't you write a non-fiction book? Now, he knew me as an editor of a spirit magazine. So he told me, why don't you write a book on spirits? And I don't know why. I thought he was talking about life after death. For some reason, I have no idea. Even now, I don't understand why.
Right.
And he kept talking about the liquor industry, and I kept talking about the spirit world. And I asked him, you're sure I can do it? And he said, there's nobody better than you. You know the spirit world very well. And I said, not really. I don't know much of the spirit world. So then the topic came when he said, you need to write a chapter on hangover.
Okay.
And then I told him, really? They get hangovers there also? Then he said, who are you talking about? And I told him, I thought you were talking about the spirit world, life after death and all that. He said, I was talking about the liquor industry, but I like your idea better. Go ahead and write.
Wow.
And
Okay.
that is how from one spirit world I entered the other spirit world. That is why I have deep regard for both the spirit worlds.
I know, and you are completely high and hungover. That much I can see.
So that's how I got in. And whilst researching the book called Last Marathon,
Yeah,
all the mediums who I met would keep telling me that we can see Sai Baba near you. Sai Baba is your guide. Sai Baba, you should connect to Sai Baba.
right.
And I had always been connected to Sai Baba through my parents and my grandparents and my family. We were all strong Shirdi Sai Baba bucks.
Right.
And now also when I remember, his photograph was everywhere in the house. So I think I'd always taken him for granted that he's there. I never really prayed to him.
Right.
I just knew he was there. And then when my journey began and I started getting into channeling, that is how slowly my journey with Baba began. Obviously, his journey with me had begun God knows how many lifetimes back.
But I think your first book, The Fakir, resonated so much with people.
Yeah.
People were stuck in different phases of life, as the main character in the book is. And then they also hope that Baba or somebody will come there, to hold their hand and take them forward. And then it talks about certain profound truths that are there in the spiritual world. And sort of, I think amongst the spiritual writers, you are the only person who is also writing in this spiritual fiction sort of space. And is there any particular reason why you're doing that?
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
If you read all my books, Vaishali, all my characters are pretty flawed.
Right.
I mean, they have their quirks, they have their weaknesses, they,
Yeah.
smoke, they drink, they abuse, they are kind of suicidal.
Yeah.
I think what has happened is people have connected with the characters in the book. Okay, even I am like this.
Right.
This person can experience certain truths.
Yeah.
So can I.
Yeah.
What happens is when we are doing something in a non-fiction format, it becomes preachy.
Yes.
But like when I wrote, when you published Rabda for me.
Yeah.
Rabda is about Sai Baba in Shirdi and Sai Baba in present day time.
True.
What I think people connect with my books is basically the language is very communicative. The characters are very real. So then spirituality becomes a byproduct in the story. It's not the main story.
Yeah. Yeah. Also when you answer questions in the course of that story, it hits home hard because they're very logical. There is nothing ambiguous about this spirituality that you have. It is very clear cut in one sense.
Yeah.
And that sort of, one of the things that we were discussing and I wanted to talk about is that since you are so real in your spirituality, you are not going with ritualistic observations. You are not going with religion, which people confuse spirituality with.
Yeah.
And all of us struggle because we are just trying to extricate ourselves from this ritualistic thinking into a spiritual thinking.
Yeah.
So, how do you think that in today's time, this spirituality is important to people? Because I think that you have been having a lot of live sessions and people have been watching you a lot on live sessions, and you have talked about people asking for a lot more help. And I have seen, I am publishing in that space, and I see people getting really worked up these days mentally about life. And I think the previous wave really did make us question what we were doing in life very deeply. So if you can share some learnings and the reason why spirituality is more important than everything else right now.
Vaishali, first of all, let's understand my concept of spirituality, okay?
Right.
It may differ with people to people. My concept of spirituality is going through life, giving your best calmly, and accepting eventually whatever is in store for you. Call it the master's wisdom, call it karma, call it luck, whatever. Accepting it with a certain dignity and courage.
Right, right.
What has happened is the pandemic has broken our backs. In every strata of society, the pandemic has broken our backs.
Yeah.
I've had the very rich calling me up and saying all the wealth in the world, and my mother had to die all alone in the hospital. I have middle class people saying now we don't have money to educate our children.
Yeah.
I have the poor saying that we are finished. We are daily wage earners. We are finished. I am getting phone calls from children. They are going into depression. So I have realized only one thing. Only those people who are very calm, and they understand that at this present moment, fretting and fuming and kicking around is only going to make me sink faster.
Right.
I find those people staying afloat. And for me, another word for spirituality is joyous calmness.
Right.
Where you can look into the eyes of a tiger very calmly and then decide what you want to do. But what people are doing is they are trying to grab the tail of the tiger. That's not good news for the person. For me, spirituality does not only mean prayers and charity. It means giving your level best and then leaving the rest to the wisdom of the master. That is for me spirituality. Now, whether you call it a practical approach to life, whether you call it a paranormal approach to life, I leave it to you. But for me, this is what spirituality is about. Trying to be as decent as you can. We are flawed, but trying to be as decent as we can.
But then if life keeps on handing you, one tragedy or one wrong thing after the other, then how do you stay, calm in the face of this sort of storm?
But Vaishali, you've got two options. Either you go ballistic or you stay calm.
I mean, you can't control it. That's the thing, right?
You cannot control the storm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either you go completely crazy and start running from one tree to the other, or you stay calm and say, okay, the storm's coming. What's the best way out?
Right.
For me, that is spirituality. I mean, in a nutshell, that is it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you because I saw a lot of people running around trying to control the situation. And that was probably the wrong way to be in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even in our day-to-day existence, people control so much. We want to control how other people get up, how they eat, how they sleep.
Exactly.
If we have children, we want to direct them and see where their careers are going. We have just no limitation in terms of control. And then somewhere things are going to go wrong.
Our problem is mankind inherently is got a self-destructive button within.
Yeah, that's true.
And another problem with mankind is we cannot digest happiness. We have that Pathani Kida. And it's a sad thing. I had a family that came to me. Everything is going fine for them. Okay, everything is going fine.
Yeah.
And that guy told me, my problem is I'm earning 15 to 20% less than what I was earning before COVID. I wanted to get up and give him a kick.
Yeah.
So.
True. I mean, if you're healthy, if your family is in the right place, if you are earning, you're able to feed them. That's good enough. Yeah. But money has become the means, right? So the more you earn, the more you get. And the more greedy you become.
No, Vaishali, money has not become the means. Money has become the goal.
goal, the end goal.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
your child should be in that fancy college, should be seen in that fancy car. Your child should be, wearing designer clothes, and the marriage should be where you take a overseas destination marriage.
True.
That's it. That's
And
what.
if you're doing so many things, something is bound to go wrong, and then that is unacceptable.
We are living on EMIs.
Yeah.
We are living beyond our budget. Like our parents, our grandparents would tell us, "Jitna chaddar hai, utna pair philao."
Yes.
That concept is over.
That concept.
That concept is over. That guy's sitting on a handkerchief and he's stressed himself out.
Yeah. True. That's true. Do you want to talk about Sai Baba and the Fakir series to begin with, so that we set like a background to all the books?
See, I'll tell you what. Even the last Fakir, which we released last year, The Journey Within.
Yeah.
What is it trying to do? It's trying to equip you to go through life fearlessly, calmly, and with dignity. That's it. So if you were to capsulate the Fakir, it is surrender, joyous surrender to the master. In my case, it would be Sai Baba of Shirdi. And trying to help us live a life with dignity.
Right.
Though the world around us is undignified.
True.
So you have to be like the lotus. You're growing in sewage, but you are above it.
Yeah.
And I think that is the purpose of the Fakir. It's about loving your master. Like Meher Baba keeps saying, Avatar Meher Baba keeps saying that I only want two things. I want your complete love, and I want your complete surrender in the form of complete obedience. He says, I'm not come here to preach. I've just come here to awaken that love within you. It could be for me, it could be for your goddess, God Guru. But come from love. And that is what Baba says, that I'm not looking for anything. I just want your love. Do you really love me, or do you want to manipulate me? And
Do people want to, the people who come to you, do they want to do all this, or are they looking for solutions?
No, people want predictions. 9 out of 10 people are coming with predictions.
What will happen in the future?
Yeah. It is that one, that is 10% out of the 100 who are saying, I understand I have a particular karmic blueprint. Just help me to handle myself with dignity. Those are very few.
Yeah.
But why me? What does Sai Baba say at the end of his life? He said, I'm tired of these businessmen. I'm tired of these shopkeepers. What did he mean by shopkeepers? Not the banyas. He meant everyone is coming only to do transaction with me.
Yeah, the give and take.
Yes. He said, I'm tired of these shopkeepers. And I think we are all virtually shopkeepers.
Sure.
Do I love Baba, or do I want something from Baba? Is a very important question we need to ask ourselves.
Yeah. True. So when you are interacting with these spiritual gurus, Sai Baba of course lives within you. Sadhu Vaswani, also one of the great saints of our time. Yeah, Dada Vaswani. Sorry, and a saint of our times, and one of the people who we had the opportunity of seeing physically. And you had interaction with him and you wrote about him. And then in the perfect ones, you talk about several spirits coming in and speaking to you. What is it like to be in that world while being in the midst of this whole material world? What does it feel like?
See, I've had the experience of meeting Swamiji Naik, on whom I wrote the Devi's Emblem.
Right.
I've had the experience of interacting and spending time with Swamiji and Dada Vaswani. And the third master that I've spent a little time, but I've been very, very pleased and honored is Murari Bapu. These are three masters I have spent a little time with.
Right.
In all three, the love for the goddess God Guru comes out. In all three, there is a compassion that comes out. There is no two doubts that the most humble human being I have ever met in my life is Dada Vaswani. He was childlike.
And full of love. I don't know. I just look at him and he looks like he was love.
Yeah, but all three, whoever I've interacted, the first thing that comes forth is their love. The first thing that comes forth is their love.
Yeah.
Second is they don't judge.
Mm.
And the third is, if they can't help you out, they will at least bless you and pray for you. There is a certain shuddhi in them. It's not all about siddhi. Vaishali, the problem in this time is that all the spiritual people are kind of clamoring for siddhi, the powers. That shuddhi is missing. That is why when you see most of the spiritual leaders, I will not call them spiritual masters, they are spiritual leaders.
Right.
A master, spiritual master has got complete control over his own ego first.
Yeah.
A spiritual leader kind of leads people into his way of thinking.
Right.
So the problem with spiritual leaders is there is no humility. You don't find the humility in any of the spiritual leaders. But a spiritual master does not have to try and be humble. He is humble. She is humble.
Yeah.
If you see Meher Baba, if you see Sai Baba, Ramakrishna Paramahansa, Ramana Maharishi, they didn't speak too much.
Mm.
But you, like in the book, the Twilight songs, there are many stories where an individual has met Meher Baba only once. And he has or she has completely devoted the next 50, 60 years to loving and serving Meher Baba. That person has met him only once, that too from far away.
Wow. Okay.
That should be that namrata, that bhav.
Yeah.
So for me, just being in their company was like going for a tirtha yatra or having a bath in the origins of the Ganges.
You know, I felt this with the Dalai Lama, His Holiness. Yeah, because we had to do a book launch and I was there with him, with, of course, I think about 100 people in the hall. And it was freezing cold in Delhi that day. And he just sat on the stage and I just felt that he had vacuumed the place. It just felt like he'd taken away all the negativity. There was no, and without speaking, just his mere presence.
That's
so
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They don't need to speak. It's just presence that does the work.
Yeah. And when he drank water, he just watched the water fall into the glass. Just amazing. And, you know, here I am, like, as a person, try to multitask. And it was just such a pleasure to watch him just watch that water fall into the glass. He was drinking warm water. He was not wearing any warm clothes. But just to watch him watch the bubbles and everything, it's just, you know, I met him some 7-8 years back and I still feel it. You can feel his spirituality within you, like the I don't know, that purity, that love that was there.
You know, another thing is a real spiritual master will not try and impress you.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to.
He doesn't.
I have this, I was reading, in fact, I've written about Shankar Maharaj.
Right.
So Shankar Maharaj used to smoke a lot. And he used to carry a flask of brandy.
Okay.
So
Both the spirits.
Yeah, so whenever some very big shot or whenever certain devotees came to meet him first time, he would open the brandy flask and drink the brandy in front of them. And many of them would get disillusioned and go away. So eventually one very intimate disciple of Shankar Maharaj said, "What are you doing? Why are you doing all this?" So he said, "I don't want the fluff. I want people to see me beyond the brandy flask."
Right.
So if you see Sai Baba of Shirdi, Meher Baba, Shankar Maharaj, when they were living, they had a very small band of disciples. They were not into numbers like Sri Yutkeshwar Giri, the guru of Paramahansa Yogananda.
Right.
He had a small ashram.
Yeah.
And he used to only allow a few students to come, and he would only train those few students. And he was a spiritual giant.
He was.
He wasn't into propaganda. He didn't need to.
True.
So I always, when someone asks me, how do we recognize a spiritual person? I say, it's your call. Who am I to tell you how to recognize a spiritual person?
Right.
But one thing is he humble or is she humble? Is he or she compassionate? And where is the ego? Because whenever I met Swamiji, I would get the khushbu of Mukamlika Ma. Whenever I met Dada, I would only get the khushbu of Sadhu Aswani. They disappeared.
Right.
I don't see that anymore, you know.
True. True.
So that is the issue. That's the issue.
Okay. Coming back to our book, you want to hold it up and at least show the audience, and then we can talk about. So it's a beautiful, beautiful book. And believe me, we've had experiences while doing the book. So we'll tell you everything about it. It looks lovely. I haven't had the opportunity to hold it. We've hardly been getting any books at home.
Yeah, I know. The books you all have sent haven't reached me. This I have ordered it.
Oh God.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I don't know. The couriers are getting lost. It's become another exercise. So sorry about that. Just talk a bit about how you got turned. How did you turn towards Avatar Meher Baba when you had been writing so much about Sai Baba? Suddenly, how did this come up? And that story is quite remarkable. How you put this book together.
Vaishali, the last marathon actually is a book on Meher Baba.
Okay.
Because to do research on life after death and spirit communication, I was introduced to Veera Keshwala. God bless her soul. She passed away a few years back.
Okay.
It was a channel for Meher Baba.
Okay. Oh, okay.
The first time I heard of Meher Baba was at Meru Vakshipwala, Dr. Meru Vakshipwala's clinic, where I would take my children to. And
the daughter's name is also Meher, right?
Yes, I have named my daughter Meher after Meher Baba.
Right.
So, and best part is that is what Sai Baba told me in prayer.
Okay.
So can you see the oneness? Can you see?
Yeah, the connect comes together.
Yeah. So I first saw Meher Baba in Dr. Meru Vakshipwala's clinic, and it's a lovely photograph of his smiling. And I would always go there, and there were many people waiting, and I would just keep looking at him, and I would get fascinated by his smile.
Right.
Then when I had to write the book, I gravitated towards a medium, Veera Keshwala, who used to channel for Meher Baba. And that is how Meher Baba entered my life. And he used to call me in the channeling my absconding author, because I used to sometimes just disappear from the meetings.
Right.
And after we finished the Fakir, the journey within, I don't know why I had this strange urge of writing on Meher Baba. but through the eyes of his disciples,
Right.
not writing on Meher Baba through his work.
Hmm.
And I wanted this book to reach those people who may have not heard of Meher Baba. I wanted Meher Baba followers to understand that following Meher Baba is like an intoxication.
Right.
You see, all the people who I've interviewed for Meher Baba, they've all gone through a rough life, Vaishali.
Hmm.
They've all gone through their personal tragedies. In fact, someone who I spoke to is suffering from cancer. Somebody has just lost his wife. Someone has lost a child. But you know what I love about the Meher Baba followers?
Yeah.
They are not expecting Meher Baba to perform miracles.
Right.
All they want from Meher Baba is his love for them, and all they want is to love him. And that is one thing I respect about the true follower of Meher Baba. Another thing is that they have got their own unique sense of humor. And the best part is everyone, most of the followers think they have got a personal ownership of Meher Baba.
Okay.
So it sometimes gets a little tricky talking to them.
Do you want to explain a bit more? What does that mean?
They are very possessive about him. I don't know whether you'll understand it. They are very possessive about him. It's like he is mine.
Yeah.
And I know everything about him.
Yeah.
Which is very sweet. I find it damn sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah,
That love comes across as possessiveness.
Yeah.
Another thing, Vaishali, is remember this book is written about those 25 people who met Meher Baba when they were very young, and Meher Baba was his twilight years. Now, after 50 odd years, I have interviewed those people who themselves now are in their twilight years.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, so you understand.
Yeah, how it's coming full circle in a way.
It's coming full circle. And
Yeah.
especially, virtually everyone cried whilst talking about Meher Baba.
After so many years of his passing.
Yes, virtually everyone. So you have 60 and 70 and 80-year-old choking and crying when they are talking about Meher Baba, which I find is very beautiful, which I find that is where love comes forth.
Right.
That is where love comes forth.
Yeah, and also, when I was doing the primary edits of the book, it is so beautiful, Ruzbeh. I don't know why, it just like the book slowly grows on you. There is a certain calm to it. And I don't know if you thought about the order of placing the interviews, but it really does look like you did something to that.
No, Vaishali, you will not believe it. This is how Meher Baba planned it. I have not reshuffled the interviews. I have how I interviewed everyone.
Yeah. So I don't know how it feels like there is an introduction and then there is a middle and there is a conclusion to the book.
Yeah.
I mean,
that is Meher Baba's presence. That is Meher Baba taking. See, he was a perfectionist.
Right.
Notice, he worked on y'all.
He did. We had the best copy editorial team on this.
Yes, I am shocked.
Yeah. And I mean, I am happy to see an author happy, honestly. But I think we have been like delighted with this book, both of us.
I mean, I am truly delighted with the cover, with the hardbound, with the paper, with the editing, with coming on time, everything.
Yeah. We were looking at the edits and then I was worrying about the cover. I can tell you that I had zero clue on what I wanted on the cover, but I had complete clue on what I did not want on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
And because I have not known Avatar Meher Baba, and then I knew him some after having edited the book, there was that space I was in where I was looking for the designer to give me the like the inputs, and I could say, oh, this is the direction you take, this is something you don't take. And what happened with us was that the designer actually left.
Mm.
And then and during this pandemic, and the whole world is in a disarray, you don't know if people are going to work with you. And suddenly our design head, Gunjan Elawat, sends me this sketch and says, listen, we don't have time now. Can we do a sketch? We have not been able to find a good photograph. We were not able to connect with this thing. And he said, can we do a sketch? And if you remember, I sent you that.
Vaishali,
Yeah.
first of all, printing a photograph of Meher Baba is walking on a landmine.
Right.
Because you never know who is going to write to me and fire me and say, how the hell did you print this photograph without this person, this trust, this.
Yeah.
So that's why I told you, Vaishali, let's go for something original. And then you told me that painting, and I said, is this original? And you said, this is a sketch. And I said, wow, this is a sketch, an original sketch that belongs to us.
Yeah.
So now if any Meher Baba follower wants to print it, they'll have to contact us.
Yes.
It's a full circle.
Yeah.
Circle.
Yeah, and the colors, like it just brings out, the book makes you feel very loved. It just feels like a lot of love is packaged into this book. A lot of compassion, a lot of reaching out to people is there.
Vaishali, already I've got around 9 people who have told me, why don't you write a sequel to this?
Are you serious?
No,
this is a massive book.
Yeah. And imagine, I've already got 9 people who have told me, there are others, why don't you write a sequel to that?
Amazing. Amazing. These are extraordinary stories. Are there any stories that you want to talk about of people who you interviewed so that we can understand?
Very ironically, my first story, my first interview and my last interview. Okay?
Right.
Interview is of Sam Patel.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Now, and he started crying and it really choked me up. You see, what happened is Sam met Meher Baba because Sam's father was an ardent devotee of Meher Baba, and Sam was very small. Somewhere whilst growing up, Sam got upset with Meher Baba because he thought, if Meher Baba is God, if Meher Baba is an avatar, why are we going through whatever we are going through? So he kind of turned away from Meher Baba when Meher Baba was body, okay?
Right.
He was so upset with Meher Baba that he wouldn't even entertain any talk of Meher Baba. He would leave the room if his father or mother were talking about Meher Baba.
Right.
Then imagine, Meher Baba dropped his body. Sam was yet so upset with Meher Baba, he did not go to pay his respects. Then many years later, somebody called him up and Sam became a pilot. And many years later, somebody called him up and said, we are going to Meherabad, do you want to come? And he said, yeah, I'll come, but I'll come as an outing. I'm not coming as a devotee disciple or anything. I'll just come as an outing. Now, after many years, Sam goes to Meherabad. And of course, everyone goes to the Samadhi, so Sam tags along. And somebody tells Sam that you've come to the Samadhi, at least go inside. No? And Sam goes inside and he breaks down. And he cries and he cries and he cries. And imagine, it was then when Sam accepted him as the avatar. And he told me, you know what, Sam Patel, imagine the avatar was there and I turned away from him. What do you learn from this? You learn that sometimes you may have the goddess, God, Guru standing in front of you and yet you turn your back to them. And it would take their going away for you to realize, oh God, what have I done? So that story really touched me. And the last story was told to me by Prakash. And Prakash told me it's a story within a story. Okay?
Okay.
Prakash told me that once they had gone for some function where there was a man singing ghazals, and he was playing the tabla. And in middle of the tabla playing, the man started weeping and started crying unconsolably. And his name is Dost Mohammed, I think. Yeah, Dost Mohammed, the tabla player. So they called him Dost Mohammed or Fakir Mohammed. So they asked him that, why are you crying? So he said, you have no idea today what it means to me. So they said, what does it mean to you? He said, you see, when I was a small boy, my father had kept me in an ashram of Meher Baba called the Prem Ashram. And Meher Baba had told us very clearly, no eating of non-veg. Now, this guy was a rich man's son. So for 3 nights, he would bunk, go to a hotel far away and eat non-veg. And he would come back. On the 3rd night, after he came back, in the night, Meher Baba walked into the dormitory. And everybody woke up, okay, what was Meher Baba doing? And Meher Baba, remember, in obedience, he was a militant. He had a certain militant quality about obedience. So he said, somebody has gone out and eaten non-vegetarian food. So everyone said, no, Baba, we have not eaten. No, Baba, we have not eaten. And even those said the same thing, I have not eaten. And then Meher Baba told him the 3 days what he had eaten, everything, how he had gone, who he had talked, everything. And he said, okay, pack your bags. Tomorrow your father will come and take you. So this boy was internally happy that I'm going back home. He was kind of fed up of the ashram. Too many strict rules. So the father came, the boy was very happy, the boy went home, and for a week or 2, he enjoyed himself. And then suddenly, when he woke up one day, there was a heaviness in his heart.
Okay.
And he was missing Meher Baba.
Oh.
So he pleaded with his father that take me back there. I will listen to anything Meher Baba tells me. So they went to the ashram and Meher Baba had gone somewhere else. Again, after 1 month, they came back. Meher Baba had gone somewhere else. This boy could never meet Meher Baba.
Oh.
He could never meet him.
Right.
So after years and years and years, it was as though Meher Baba had forgiven him and he got the opportunity of playing the tabla. Dholki, he used to play the dholki, playing the dholki for Meher Baba. So, there is a particular saying, Jag roothe chal gaye, par tum na rootho, tum rootho to gajab ho jaye. Which means if you get angry, everything is lost. So these 2 stories that I found very heart-touching. But it shows you that Meher Baba insisted on obedience.
Right.
I mean, for him, obedience meant love, obedience meant surrender, obedience meant everything. And of course, I was very humbled by Mera Sam Kerawala's interview. She can't talk, because of health issues, she couldn't talk.
Right.
She could hardly move. But, so I used to ask the question, I could see it processing in her head, and I could see 1 or 2 words would come out. But you know what? The love that she has for Meher Baba is so bright in her eyes that it humbles you.
Right.
So this is...
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Unbelievable stories, if you really think about them. So what is this that Meher Baba really taught? What are his followers? What are the principles of following Meher Baba?
I think, see, there are no rituals.
Right.
There are no conditions. I know Meher Baba followers, some are non-veg, some are veg, some drink, some don't drink, some smoke, some don't smoke. He's not set some code book.
Right.
What did Meher Baba say? Love me selflessly and obey me completely. Meher Baba had a very beautiful word. You know, remember, he didn't speak for the last 44 years of his life.
So how did he convey to people? Please talk about his silence a bit.
So he started with the alphabetic board.
Right.
And, he would do it, and he had, Erach. I think Erach was there, and Erach would, translate.
Okay.
At the point, he kept the board away, and he had his hand movements, and Erach knew. It was as though they were one in.
Right.
So, Meher Baba would keep doing this, which meant my nazar is on you.
Right. Right.
And trust me, I have experienced his nazar.
Right. I trust you fully.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about it. It's too personal, but I have experienced his nazar.
Right.
He's a very loving, most loving, but a very demanding avatar. It's my way or the highway.
Right.
I mean, he'll explain you once, twice, thrice. After that, he takes things in control. I'm sure you have experienced it while he's bringing this book out. He the best people involved to get this book out.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm blown by that.
Yeah. Now, okay. The first interview I had with Ronit Roy.
Right.
Was on July 10th. Nobody planned it for July 10th. He planned it. July 10th is Silence Day, where he took silence.
Oh, yes, you told me that.
Yeah. So, I have seen his hand in this book. Another thing, Vaishali, I had interviewed people, but I wasn't getting time to write.
Right.
Other things going on in my life.
Yeah.
And then COVID took place. And I remember Baba telling me, now you have all the time in the world, get going.
Okay. And then it turned out to be this massive tome.
Yes.
First you couldn't write, and then you couldn't stop.
Yeah. And it just went on. It just went on a few months, but it just went on. I would get up in the morning and just do this and go to sleep with this.
There was also an Australia connect that Baba had, right?
See, remember, the love that the foreigners have for Baba is beautiful. And they know everything about Baba. It's very difficult to talk about Baba with dates and all with them, because they are like an encyclopedia.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have somebody over here also, Cyrus Kambata, who has edited, who has been part of the editing team and who has helped in editing.
Right.
But the foreigners, like who I spoke to, I've got a number of foreigners in the book.
Yes, yes.
And Jenny Keating helped a lot. She put us on to other people. Like in India, we had Jennifer, Bharucha, my sister. We had Roshni, we had Jimmy Khan, we had Cyrus Kambata. So we had our people, but even abroad, when I just wrote a letter to Jenny that I'm seeking others who very sweetly, she sent me the entire list that I will also speak to them. I've never met her, not spoken to her. So it's a very intimate, band of lovers, I would call them. A very intimate band of lovers.
And it's quite strange that there are these people from across the world, different people, and I'm sure you've spoken to them at different points of time.
Yeah.
But why does the book look like a whole? Like, I remember when we were discussing how the book is, maybe we should do it in 2 parts. But I just could not break it. It just felt like a whole by itself. So all the interviews of all the people after so many years of his passing, these people are, I'm sure, how is the community connected? of
It's,
people.
it's very tight. It's very tight. It's a tight community. It's a tight community.
Yeah.
I am very thick-skinned. So, not many people can make me feel like an outsider. So it doesn't
Right.
matter to me. But it's a very tight community.
Right. Right.
It's like Meher Baba is mine.
Yeah.
And each one thinks that.
Yeah.
And they're very, and they have regular talks on Zoom, and there is activity going. It's a world within a world.
Right.
It's a world within a world. And even the foreigners I spoke to, there are a number of stories of foreigners, and they've been very frank. Like I remember asking someone, Michael Page, I remember asking Michael Page that you love Baba a lot. And he thought, and he said, I don't think so. But he's in my mind all the time. I don't know if I'm worthy of loving him. It's such a profound sentence,
Yeah.
I don't even think I'm worthy of loving him. But he's in my mind all the time. And imagine people met Baba when he was small, when he was just growing up,
Right.
So to live so far away where you have hardly met the avatar, but yet carry the avatar in your heart for decades is fantastic. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to share about the book? Something I haven't asked, but you would like to share with the readers?
I think this is a book not only for Meher Baba followers. If you want to know how a disciple should be, read it. If you want to know how to love your goddess God Guru, read it. If you want to know how an avatar or a perfect master, if you want to call him, many people have a problem calling Meher Baba the avatar. I believe he's the avatar, but he's divinity. So if you want to know how divinity behaved, read it. It's a funny book. It makes you laugh. It makes you cry. It's a sweet book. It's a very dear book to me. It's something that I will treasure for the rest of my life. And I know one thing, this book will be like how Cyrus also said, Jimmy Khan, that this book is for posterity. It's not for now. It's not for the now. It's for posterity. Generations will read it after we have gone and said, oh, they had met Baba and this is how Baba was.
Yeah, I agree. I think there are some very beautiful episodes, even where nothing has happened, but the people have been transformed.
Yes. I'm telling you, Vaishali, there are times when a person has seen Baba from far away and his life is completely transformed.
Yeah.
And that person eats, drinks, sleeps, Meher Baba. It's quite fascinating. And he's not expecting anything from Meher Baba. That is important.
Yeah.
You see, with other masters and all, with other avatars and all, there's a lot of miracles attached to it.
Very transactional in nature, the relationship.
Yes. Here it's not. It's not. I love Meher Baba and Meher Baba loves me, and that's that.
True.
I've had calls from his devotees and they've been very ill and all. But it's not that Meher Baba will heal me. Baba hai na, he knows what is best. And it's a very beautiful way of living.
Sometimes it's not important to solve the pain, right? It's not important to take things that are not good away from your life. Sometimes it just helps you just anchor yourself in a way that you are able to pass through it peacefully.
You know what, Vaishali, I think it's all about knowing that he's there. My nazar is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They know his nazar is on them. I think that is it.
And it's a very big thing to understand that also.
It's a damn big thing.
Small concept.
It's a damn big thing. It's a very big thing. And it makes a huge difference, Vaishali. Makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Any last words you want to talk about before we close this evening? Because I think we are at the end of our chat.
Yeah. All I want to say is, I know the times are tough. Anchor yourself in that immense belief that your master knows what's best for you, and joyously go for the ride. It's all right. Sab theek hoga. One way or the other, sab theek hoga.
True. Thank you so much for sharing all these beautiful thoughts, Ruzbeh. I think we are richer for it. And I do hope that more people will get to see this video and cherish what you've said today out here. And we hope that people will read this book and it will bring them that kind of peace and joy that it's brought us in putting it together.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Ruzbeh, and thank you, Landmark, for having us on this platform.
Thank you.
And thank you, readers, whoever's been able to join us tonight. Thank you. Bye.